Hi and welcome to Tabletop Gaming, home of things like magazines and great tabletop gaming goodness. My name is Charlie and today we're going to talk about this greatness, which is War of Whispers. Now, spoiler alert, I'm super excited to get hold of this one because I've wanted to take a look since Shut Up and Sit Down did a review of it, however long ago that was. You don't realise how long passes in board games until you suddenly sit down and like, when did I see that and want that? Oh, I've still not got it? Great. So what I thought we'd do now that we have our hands on it is take a look inside, get an idea of what the components are like, what sort of things happening, and see if this is one for you, as it appears, I think, to be one for me. I'm super excited. War of Whispers is a game for 2 to 4 players, ages 14 and over, and it takes about an hour to play. This edition specifically is the collector's edition, so you'll get 175 plastic pieces and a metal first player token. So here it is. If the cover wasn't dramatic enough, it is one. I mean, it's got a great name, it's got a great cover, it's got a great story. I'm super excited. To give you an idea of what's happening within this, it's a game sort of uneasy alliances and about how you're not always betting on the victor. It's not always about who wins, but sometimes it's about who loses, and sometimes it's about making sure that they do better but they don't win, or they do worse but they don't lose, and trying to gain as many points as possible from that. I'll go into more detail in just a moment, but let's have a quick look at what's inside. So with Starling Games, we have a sort of nice look through at some of their different games. Keep an eye out, we've got a couple of videos with them that look amazing. Do go and check those out. We have War of Whispers rules of play. Pleasantly, considering how much there is to this game from what I've seen of it elsewhere, it's not too long an instruction booklet at all. So we have our different clans here. So these are ones that you can play as. And then as you then go through, it's quite, appreciate that's upside down for you, not too much there. And that's it. I was expecting sort of a small novel to understand how to do this. I like that that's as short as it is. Okay, so we have our different ways, different sort of player boards. So Cult of the Rat, for example, the Supplicant Spider, and thus the different things at the bottom you will see that you can gain points or additional things for. So interesting, the last one being the Endless Serpent. Look at that artwork, how cool is that? Nice, that gives you an idea on sort of what their abilities are. Nicely we have, here it is, the board is circular because you're going to sort of go around. So these markers around the top are all very important when you play. They're giving you sort of what you're going to be doing and each round as well, so you can keep an eye on what's happening. Now each of those places are where you're going to put different tiles. And as I said, it's not just about winning, it's not just about making sure you've taken the most space, it's also about making sure that other people lose and that some people do better than others. So we have a startup, very nice, just a very quick sort of setup, treasure cards and a couple of clarifications as well in case you have any questions, and those components that go with them too. So haven't got to trawl through the rulebook every time you want to, that's quite nice. And the little tokens that we will need for going alongside the board. Marvellous. All quite nice quality as well. I like it when they're like this, all cut very well. Good shout. Happy with that. So then we get to the sort of exciting bit, is it fair to say? The whole game is exciting, but there is tons in here. Now interestingly, the reviews in previous editions or for standard editions are that sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to see what's flat on the board because it's so much done through sort of punch out tokens and components, as opposed to being sort of lifted out of the board and therefore easy to see. This, of course, fixes that because you're going to have your different colours for marking your territory slightly differently, as well as, look at that, that's a cool little sand timer to go in there. It doesn't work, by the way, it is just pretty, and different castles, different colours. So these more specifically will be dependent on your character class. We'll take this out actually, let's have a quick look at some of the clearer ones that this one will do. So these are all the same but for the different colours, and these are for your different types. So potentially this is Endless Serpent. Doesn't he look fancy? So you can keep an eye on what's going on. Though it's really clear what's going on around the board as you do. Now, the bit that I mentioned was the metal coin. It's got some good weight to it actually. This will be your player marker. It's one of those things when they do stuff like this that it's not the most important in terms of you could live without a metal coin, it's not something that changes the game in any way, but it's cool. It's just cool. And then, what have we got? We have our cards here. We've got 2 packs of cards here. These ones are for your different factions. So if we see, we've got a certain set there quite nicely, and those continue through, so you can see the sort of different banners that come with those. And then we have these ones sealed slightly separately, which offer things such as treasure or an assassination plot. When this card is drawn, immediately do one of the following, then discard the card. Either kill all Eagle banners in one region, or rearrange the agents on Eagle's Empire Council. All agents must move to a new position. So these can really change the tide of the game quite quickly, and therefore make it quite interesting to read through as well. Now, to give you a little bit more detail on the game as to why I'm so excited about it, is that this isn't about being a kingdom that says, I want to conquer here and I want to win here, which isn't a bad thing to use in a game in any way. It works really effectively in some cases, but there's nothing new or different about it. War of Whispers looks at the people in between, so the politicians that want to see something better happening for these. And sure, you might want your own kingdom or a certain kingdom to win, but actually it would be better for you for trade if someone else didn't do so badly. So you might make alliances or make certain decisions that maybe are to detriment to your main goal, but to guarantee something else happening, all in the name, ultimately, of points, but thematically incredibly clever. Now, equally, you can choose to change your alliances later at a really pivotal point that makes it quite a gripping game, because you're also trying to second guess what your fellow players are doing. Who are they trying to sabotage? Who are they trying to trick? What are they trying to gain? Have they made that move because it's the only move they can make, or have they made it because actually they're on your side and you should help them with their endeavours, or actually are they against you and you should try and prevent them from doing what they're doing? Who knows? And it's a really deceptive, clever little thinking game that plays out beautifully. Now, with these really nice additional tokens, I will just open a couple more up just because I think they look great. This really brings it off the board. The other things we have that are worth having a quick look at, we've got our castles, check those out, which I believe are for when you have dominated an area. And then also we have these little guys too, for those to go on to. So you can see it adds more than you'd expect to a game like this, and that's not to say that the normal version is unplayable, because of course it isn't. But if you like games like this or are attracted to games like this, the collector's edition does quite a lot extra. It adds an extra oomph to the game and an extra sort of level to it that I think is worth it. Now, I'm super excited to get to play this, but I want to hear from you. Have you played this? This is one of Board Game Geek's sort of top-rated games. You'll see it not too far down the list. So I imagine a lot of you have. I'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are. If you have any tips for me, any best ways to play or strategies that I should try out, I definitely want to hear about it. So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Don't forget you can find more from Tabletop Gaming on our website or even within the magazine. So be sure to go and check that out. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.